Hello and welcome to Flagler Features. I'm your host, Craig Hawkinson. Hey, you know, the real estate market in Flagler County is really starting to heat up. If you plan on getting into this market anytime soon, you're going to want to hear from my next guest. His name is Steve Verrier from the FloridaMortgageCenter.com. He has got a ton of information to share with us, so stick with us. We'll be right back.
GEA Auto Sales and GEA Diagnostic Center, providing Flagler County and surrounding areas with an excellent selection of used cars and fast, dependable service. Don't pay franchise prices for service and repair when you can get superior quality and affordable service in our state-of-the-art diagnostic center. GEA offers a wide selection of used cars in every price range. Let us show you what makes us your premier used car dealership and service center. Call us at 586-6595 or visit our website at geautos.com.
Welcome back, folks. I'm your host, Craig Hawkinson. You're watching Flagler Features. Today, I'm joined by Steve Verrier from the FloridaMortgageCenter.com.
Hello, Craig. Thanks for having me here.
Oh, hey, man. I appreciate you taking the time to do it.
Right.
Well, tell us a little bit about your business.
Well, I do want to add that the FloridaMortgageCenter.com is my website, so that's what I usually announce. I am the owner of that website, and that's what I use as a portal for people to find me online. I actually work with Lake State Mortgage, which is a subsidiary of Success Mortgage Partners. They lend in over 17 or 18 states here nationwide, and I am their Flagler County branch down here, basically. So I run the branch for them, and we originate mortgage loans for residential purchasing. So we don't do commercial loans, and we don't do loans for raw land, but just about everything else involved with purchasing a home or refinancing your existing loan on a home, those are the operations that we take part in daily, whether it's construction perm or VA or FHA or conventional financing. USDA still in some areas is available. So we do all that type of financing, anything from zero down, depending on what program, to minimum down payments of 3% typically can be obtained. So, you know, credit is still a factor. In fact, the majority of my clients usually come to me with subpar credit scoring, and, you know, we'll take a month or two and work with them. I mean, I am not a credit repair person, but being in the business over 2.5 years, looking at credit reports every day, it's easier for me to do a quick analysis and provide people with better steps to take than they normally would on their own or without paying a professional for that kind of advice, so that they can quickly get on the track to qualifying for a mortgage.
Well, you know, having heard what you've said, it seems to me that before anyone even starts to look at real estate, if they're going to need a mortgage, you're probably one of the first people, if not the first person they should be talking to.
Right. Well, you know, it's funny because most people don't have bank accounts with 5 zeros on the balance. And, you know, most of your properties are well over $100,000. And people don't normally equate in their mind, for whatever reason, honey, let's, you know, I think it's time to buy a house. And they'll go and talk to a real estate agent. Well, one of the first questions the real estate agent will have is, are you paying cash? No? Well, then you need to be pre-approved, and, you know, they'll be referring them to a finance professional, someone like myself. So, you know, rather than waste that time and energy just to go hear that, I mean, we always recommend that whether you're buying or selling, because even sellers need another place to live, so depending on what their plans are, typically they're buying another property. So before you're even deciding to sell or buy your home, you really need to get an assessment of your financial status, whether it's your ability to repay the loan. We have to look at your monthly cash flow, your debts versus your income, whether you have the ability to close the transaction, so there's down payment and closing cost requirements, and those funds have to come from acceptable sources. Of course, we have to analyze your credit report and make sure you have a willingness to repay a loan. I mean, those are all the 3 things that the underwriter has to cover, you know, and verify on a borrower before they'll approve that borrower to go to the closing table. And of course, they have to look at the appraisal, which is the assessment of the collateral, the property that's being loaned upon, which of course, if you don't pay the loan back, they will come and take the collateral. So the other facet that the underwriters are looking at is the property assessment. So, I mean, basically our job is to prepare the borrower for the walk through that assessment. Okay? So, ultimately, I mean, you're much better off speaking to someone like myself. You know, a lot of people ask, well, what's the difference between you and the bank? I mean, banks, you're stuck with their product, and of course, their sales agent, their loan people are always trying to sell their products, which may or may not necessarily be the best product for you.
Sure.
Working with someone of my nature, we have multiple investors that all have different guidelines. So a lot of times, you know, the bank might be denying you, but that's only because they have a guideline that, you know, prevents you from moving forward with their product. Doesn't mean any one of our multiple investors might allow you to go through their guidelines and get to the closing table.
Anyone looking for to purchase real estate or to sell real estate, you'd be a great resource as far as recommending real estate agents or title companies, because you're pretty much inspectors. You pretty much deal with that every day, and talk a little bit about that.
Well, the industry certainly is busy, but you know, as in any industry, there are performers and non-performers. You know, and I'd be lying if you know, with no names mentioned, I'd be lying if I didn't say sometimes I shake my head when I see it's a certain person that's you know, handling the transaction on the real estate side, because you know, maybe there's been problems on transactions in the past where they forget something or another, and you know, we're all humans, so we all make mistakes. But when people are making regular ones or consistent ones, then we kind of get an idea of that, because we're busy in the industry, and we do multiple transactions monthly. So we see performance, and we're able to gauge things just like they are also able to gauge people in my business as to how we perform. Yeah, I mean, you definitely you can get a lot of information by speaking to someone. So, you know, a lot of people now, with everything that's available online, they like to do their own research online, but really speaking to a qualified professional is a great place to start. And again, unless you have a bank account with multiple zeros on it and you're a cash buyer, because there are cash buyers out there, you know, unless you're one of those, you really should start with the finance professional.
Well, that would seem to be the most logical place to start, because why spend your time looking at real estate that you cannot get financing for? You know, it just seems like the good first step to find out, hey, here's our ceiling and here's our floor.
Right.
Once you
fall in love with something, I mean, you're out looking at properties in a higher price range than what you qualify for. Now you get hit with reality, and here's what you qualify for. It is very, very, very hard to readjust your perspective, or your wife's perspective, to accommodate what, you know, now your price range qualifies you for. So yeah, there's a lot of heartache, a lot of pain, a lot of mistakes that can be prevented by taking care of that step first. So,
absolutely.
You know, something else we do is, you know, we try to promote other businesses. I mean, we engage in a lot of marketing like you do. We're very active on Facebook as the FloridaMortgageCenter.com, as well as my personal, you know, feed under Steve Verrier. We also have a channel for real estate agents as well, because, you know, definitely with the old adage of that if you, you know, pour more water in the tub, all boats rise. One thing that I do is I try to share a lot of the marketing strategies that I use with other real estate professionals, because as their business grows, so does my business.
Sure.
But, you know, a couple of the series are for consumers. We have the Saturday tip strategy, as I mentioned. And we also do a public service announcement of a sorts, where we're telling people what's happening on the weekends, which we try to focus on family-oriented event, because we do think, you know, that family is important, very important. And in this digital age, I mean, come on, you see a family go out to dinner and everyone's on their phone. No one's talking to each other. So, you know, we definitely want to promote activities, because it helps the people putting on those activities. And subliminally, it's helping the families. Spend some time together, leave the phones in the car, and you know, enjoy the time together. So we definitely want to bring those activities to the forefront, especially fundraising type activities that also help other third parties. You know, those are always a priority on our list when we're trying to promote different events.
Sure. You know, we need more businesses like yours in this community, and there are a lot of great businesses businesses in the community. But I think you're really taking a good stride forward in modeling how to be a good community member as well as a business entrepreneur.
Thank you.
So, Steve, I want to thank you for joining me, man. It was very
Thank you for having me,
informative,
Greg.
and I appreciate it, and good luck. Folks, stay with us. We'll be back.
This show brought to you in part by Marketing to Go. Let us create a buzz about your business with a custom marketing plan. And by Southeast Media Productions, improving the effectiveness of your online and social media marketing with professional video production.
Be sure and check out this week's featured fishing hole on FlaglerTV.com. We will explore one of the best intercoastal waterway fishing spots for kayakers in Flagler County. We'll cover where to launch your kayak, where to cast net for bait, and where to cast your rod for the best chance of landing the big one. You can find this video on FlaglerTV.com. Visit us today.